Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Respawn Radio with your host, Paul.
And Raphi.
Yeah. And
There's a lot of names. You got them right.
again,
We're doing well with that. Oh, we're on episode 5, 6?
So we're on episode 5.
Episode 5.
Today, I guess is chapter 2 in our mission to...
Do all Marvel. Although, does this count as Marvel?
This is MCU. It is.
Universal.
Oh, no, I know what you mean. But no, it's MCU, but it was the movie itself, The Incredible Hulk in 2008, was distributed by Universal in the same way that Iron Man was distributed by Paramount.
Fair enough.
So it's made by the same people, but like you know how even up till this point, Spider-Man: Homecoming was distributed by Sony. Yeah. Because they own the rights to it. That's the tricky thing with Hulk. You notice it never got a sequel.
It's because Universal own them and they won't let them do a sequel.
It's weird though because they can still use the character in films like Thor 3.
Yeah, they can. They've got a really weird dealership.
Yeah.
Really, really weird deal. But yeah, no. Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Much better than the other Hulk film.
Ang Lee's Hulk from 2003.
It is awful.
I've heard in many ways this is not only like a reboot, but it's also kind of a sequel in a way. But I don't even want to think.
I don't think it's a sequel.
No,
I because in the opening credits, you know how films used to do that sort of. I mean, there's still some films do, but you know how you get like names at the start of the film.
Yeah,
it uses that bit to sort of explain how it became the Hulk.
Yeah, so it's sort of.
So it sums up like because it's not a what's called an origin story. It kind of drops you kind of in the middle of what's going on.
Yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming kind of did the same thing.
Yeah.
And the reason I think they did it is because literally, like, was it like 5 years before, like you said, the other Hulk film came out, and it's so close to it. They kind of we want to skip the bullshit bit. Let's get straight to the Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it worked out because I do like that intro bit.
I wasn't a fan of it really.
The Hulk or the intro?
The intro bit. It felt really didn't feel like a professional movie. I don't know. It's just weird the way it was shot. It felt really like amateurish.
I don't know. I thought it looked weird, but it felt like like watching a comic book almost.
Well,
it was. I mean, yeah.
I know what you mean. I mean, I bloody hope not, because that's what the whole Ang Lee's Hulk was about. Like
that was done poorly.
That was interspliced with like literally like portions of the screen in different squares because they wanted to make it look like a comic book. This movie was nothing like that.
No. This film. I mean, I'm sure you disagree with me, but this film was actually good. It's okay.
It's
a massive step up.
It's a massive step up from that piece of shit. Yeah. The other one. I don't even know who was in it. Some cast members who I've never seen in any film since.
It's Thingy from what's his name now? Bruce. No, Bruce Banner's the actual character. No, his name's either got Bruce in it or it's got Banner in it. Edward Banner.
Bruce Norton.
No, I swear it's Edward Banner.
That doesn't matter.
I'm gonna have to Google it now. He was in Star Trek. He was a villain in Star Trek.
What, the movies?
Yeah, I swear it's Eric Banner.
Right. Well, Eric Banner's name is spelled a little bit differently. It's like Banner rather than
Banner, but
Banner.
it's still Banner. Like,
yeah, I guess okay. So. Maybe they only picked him because he had a similar sounding name.
Maybe. I mean, he's a good actor. I love Eric Banner. He's really good in Star Trek. He plays the villain. And it's like, fire everything. That's
Is that the first Star Trek movie in 2009?
Yeah, it's him.
The bald one?
Yeah.
That's the same bloke?
Yeah.
He looks really different.
He does, because he's got a load of makeup on. I thought it was Jeff Bridges at first. But
I wouldn't have made that mistake. You just saw a bald head and you went, oh, that's Carl Pilkington. Head like a fucking orange.
Yeah. Okay, so... You don't like the film.
It's not that I don't like it. It's kind of like it feels like the missing Marvel movie to me because of Edward Norton. And in fact, when I first saw the Avengers, I hated Mark Ruffalo because it's like, for fuck's sake, Mark Ruffalo ruined the continuity. But it wasn't him. It was Edward Norton.
Edward Norton fucked up.
Yeah, he fucked up for himself.
He was such a massive dick.
It was a big rumour that he didn't come back into it because he didn't get paid enough money. Kind of like, what's his face?
Terrence
Howard, yeah. Who's War Machine. But no, it's different. He basically got fired because he's such a prick.
But Mark Ruffalo, him and Mark Ruffalo are apparently best friends.
Really?
Like, yeah, they are really, really close. So when it got announced, or not when it got announced, but when he got the role, he actually asked Edward Norton if he could do it. Because he said...
Well, that's decent of him. If they are friends, you know, I'll do that if I was an actor.
Yeah, I mean, he did, because, I mean, he strikes me as the type of person who's actually quite nice, as opposed to...
Do you know how it turned out? Like, was he all right with it?
Or he would have had to be, because if he said no, he wouldn't have done it.
Right. Oh, fair enough.
So apparently he was like, yeah, that's fine. Like, I want you to do it.
Yeah. No. Part of the reason, from what I could find, is that the portions of this film. So it's not like Super Mario Bros, where the film was constantly rewritten every day.
Yeah.
In this film, Edward Norton constantly rewrote his lines every day.
Yeah. I don't understand why he just didn't like improvise. Like he rewrote his lines, which forced all the other actors to kind of improvise off him, but apparently they just had enough of it by the end.
I didn't like his performance either. I felt like, kind of like you with Agent Coulson in Iron Man 1. I just felt like anyone could have done his role. He didn't have much charisma. In fact, he didn't say much of anything at all.
He didn't say much. He doesn't have... I don't like Edward Norton as Bruce Banner. I
thought you said you did. I thought you preferred him over Mark Ruffalo.
No. I prefer Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. I prefer the Hulk in this film to the Hulk in...
Why is that, though?
Okay, so, bearing in mind that the Hulk is meant to be a character that's just pure rage. Like, that's all he is just a big ball of rage. Somehow, the Marvel Cinematic Universe turned the Hulk into the comic relief character.
You've got to picture it this way, though. What is he? He's a giant fucking green man.
No, but he's...
It is kind of ridiculous.
He's meant... Yeah, but he's not. He's a monster. He is meant to be scary. He's meant to be the... oh shit, like, character. He's not meant to be like the jolly green giant that he is.
So you like the fact that this film was basically played straight 100%, except from one scene that has a small fraction of levity, where they're in a car together, and the joke is that he's supposed to stay calm, and Betty Ross, the love interest, is in the back of the taxi with him, and the taxi driver's going absolutely fucking mental, like driving ridiculously quick. And by the end of the drive, she's the one getting pissed off and cursing.
Yeah,
and then Edward Norton, Bruce Banner, he's like, I know something that could relax your anger.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, Bruce Banner himself can be funny. It's just the Hulk himself is not meant to be like how he was in Thor, or how he was in every Avenger film post.
Yeah,
they just made him such like
made him look more comic booky.
They made him look more comic booky, and they basically turned him into Jar Jar Binks. Like,
no,
yeah,
that's a stretch, man.
He's like a better version of Jar Jar Binks, but he's still like he shouldn't be that. He's meant to be scary when he's on screen. It's meant to be like he can do anything.
But it's not a horror movie. It's a superhero film.
I know, I get that, but like in this film, where it was a case of he was in the Hulk, and you're like, right, he means business, like fucking, like, it's the Hulk. In like every film since that, it's like, oh, it's the Hulk. Look at, he's gonna do something really wacky.
Yeah, we've got a Hulk, this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
every 5 minutes. That's getting a bit tiring.
Yeah, and it's not. It's meant to be. He turns into Hulk because he's pissed off. Like he's enraged to the point where he's. And from then on, like, the anger is only ever meant to build. Once he's not angry, he stops being the Hulk. And it seems every time he's the Hulk in later films, he's not angry in the slightest.
He can just kind of switch it on and off. It's because he's got a handle on it. But
I get he's meant to have a handle, but it's still the Hulk. And I don't know what it is. I don't like the design of the Hulk since Mark Ruffalo came into it.
I was literally just about to ask you about character design, because I hate the character design of Hulk in this film.
Do you? I prefer it. Obviously, the CGI is a lot worse than what it is now.
Yeah, well, there's that. But I wasn't really going to comment on that, but like the CGI hasn't aged nearly as well as Iron Man has.
No, it hasn't. I did pick up while watching it, but
then again, Iron Man's more metal and Hulk is like organic.
Yeah, if you look past that, because you can't. At the time, it looked fine. I remember when I watched it when it came out, I never thought that looks unrealistic.
I never saw it I literally saw it for the first time last year. I say it felt like the missing Marvel movie because I just avoided it.
Right.
Because I kind of like...
You can skip it, to be fair.
It's because there was never a sequel. Unlike the other Marvel films, a lot of the other characters carry over. Until Captain America Civil War, which came out 8 years after this, there wasn't another fit character from this film in the rest of the series. So General Ross, who's essentially...
Well, Iron Man was in it.
Well, right at the very end in the credits. But you know what I mean.
Yeah,
a different supporting character. So
again, though, I don't think that's necessarily the film's fault, because I believe if Marvel had the full rights based off that film, they would have done a sequel. There has been worse Marvel films than that.
I found out that at the end of the film, the main villain, Abomination, doesn't get killed. They were originally had an idea of bringing him in as an additional villain in Age of Ultron. That was an original plan. They canned it, though, because obviously Universal... Actually, they probably could have pulled it off. They got Hulk in the Avengers and Thor. Why wouldn't they bring back Abomination, who's even less
It may be a
important?
case that they can only use the Hulk now because they referenced another villain whose name I forget.
Oh, Tim Blake Nelson plays a character called Samuel Stearns, and he gets infected with Hulk DNA.
Yeah, he's a villain in the comic books. He has telekinesis.
Leader.
Leader. He has a massive brain, and they kind of hinted that
it might be a sequel.
Yeah, because he blood drips on him. He kind of turns his camera and smiles a little bit and kind of breaks fourth wall, which I thought was a bit weird.
Does he look directly at the camera?
He looks directly at the camera and smiles, kind of like how Deadpool does.
He should have winked at it.
So they're going to do that as well. But obviously, I like I said, I don't know what contract they have with Universal, but it looks like apart from General Ross, they can't use.
But it did all right. It did nearly 300 million at the box office.
Yeah, no, the film did really, really well.
I think it's as soon as Edward Norton. This is what I kind of like hold Edward Norton accountable for.
Yeah, maybe
if he wasn't such a dick.
But I don't think Mark Ruffalo could have done that film because Mark Ruffalo's.
It would have been a totally different movie.
Edward Norton's Bruce Banner is really fit, really energetic. He's able to fight. He disarmed like 3 people. He wasn't. Well, Mark Ruffalo is like he's a scientist. In fact, they make a joke about it in Thor 3 where he can't really do anything.
The reason you like him is the reason I dislike him. You know, it's like kind of like ironically in the terrible film Batman vs Superman.
Yeah,
we didn't get a good detective-y Batman until we had the Batman in that film.
Yeah.
So it feels like in this movie, Bruce Banner wasn't very sciencey. He was more like it was like Jason Bourne. He was just constantly on the run.
That's why I don't like him. I love Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner.
Right.
I don't like.
See, I'm getting confused.
No.
So you like the Hulk, but right, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Hulk in this film because he's the Hulk. He's just a massive rage and anger and fighting. I don't like him in the new ones, and I don't like how he looks in the new ones. He just looks. I feel like he's too bright green.
Do you really, really like the disgusting avocado-coloured, muscle-ripped Hulk?
I just think it looks better.
That shade of green?
Yeah, I just think it looks better than like somebody's just sneezed on him.
Yeah,
but I get what they did. I thought it was quite clever to actually model the Hulk's face off Mark Ruffalo's face because, admittedly, they.
Do you mean Edward Norton?
No, in the the new ones.
I was about to say that because that the Hulk in this looks nothing like Edward Norton.
Yeah, no, I mean they never did. In every Hulk feature ever, the Hulk always just looked like the Hulk. He never looked like. But in the Avengers, they actually modelled him off Mark Ruffalo's face, which I thought was quite clever because he would look like.
And when, like in Thor 3, when Hulk got a haircut, he had a haircut as well.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So he changes a bit, but. This is the one thing throughout the MCU. There's no character whose character designs changes more than Hulk.
Yeah,
it seems he looks totally different from film to film.
Well, you mean how he actually looks, not how he acts.
Yeah, rather than in the face, not necessarily, but his size, his colour.
Yeah, his size, colour. I mean,
his hairstyle.
In Thor, he basically looked like he got a perm job because his eyebrows were all waxed and it was weird.
Yeah, well, we best save that for the. We're talking about the wrong movie here.
Okay, but so we'll go back to Universal's.
Okay.
The Incredible Hulk. I feel like the film doesn't stop. It doesn't have a boring moment. It has obviously like its action and then it's talking, but it never feels like the action is just pure action, and then it never feels like the talking is just too long. Because while they're explaining everything, and I think everything they do is interesting.
I don't know, man. I couldn't disagree more.
Any scene with the Hulk, I think, is really, really good. There's only 3 real scenes with him. In the beginning, when he's in Brazil,
in the bottle factory.
In the bottle factory, which was good because it introduced the character quite well without actually showing you him. He was always in the shadow.
Yeah.
So it built up the tension quite well. The school scene, which I thought was fucking awesome.
With the fight with the discount Captain America.
Yeah. Tim Roth. I love Tim Roth. And Blonsky, I think his name is. And then there's the final fight against Abomination, which I thought, again, was actually quite a good fight. It was just 2 monsters punching each other. It kind of felt like Pacific Rim.
It was a lot shorter than I remembered.
It's 2 hours. It's longer.
No, the final fight scene. It was a lot shorter than I remembered. Because they're fighting in the street, and then before you know it, they're straight up on the roof.
Yeah, they move past it quite quickly.
We usually go over the characters a bit and then talk about the plot, but this plot's really simple. It's basically...
It's a Marvel plot. It's
Bruce Banner's on the run, and General Ross basically has a grudge against him because...
He doesn't have a grudge against him, basically. So in case no one's actually seen it, he was basically asked work for an experiment. Obviously, him being a scientist. And they misled him on what that experiment was. I think they said it was going to be like gamma radiation.
Yeah, it was like gamma
shielding or something like that.
Exactly, but they were trying to get him to recreate Captain America's super soldier serum.
Yeah, which they tried. He actually said in a like conversation with somebody else that they tried it and they kept on failing, or they had like a lesser version of it. So when they gave it to Tim Ross, Blansky, they were like, "We're going to give you like the smallest physical dose we can."
Yeah.
Like, and if you have,
but it was also one that was made by some offshot scientist. So it wasn't the original super soldier serum. It wasn't the one that Banner developed. It was some other disgusting red. Was it red or blue fluid? I can't remember what it was. So,
I think it was blue.
So they pumped that into him and then he was like the only one who could kind of face off against the Hulk.
Yeah, but he still didn't do that. It was like, he gets the absolute shit kicked. I mean, he did well. I mean, it was basically what would happen if Captain America fought the Hulk.
Yeah, he would lose.
Yeah, but he was nowhere near as good as Captain America anyway, based on what we've seen him do. He was asked to, work on this experiment. He tried it on himself. It went wrong. He got turned into the Hulk. So now the US Army is after him because they consider his body to be the property of the US government.
Yeah, they want him to be a bioweapon, basically.
Yeah, they want to use what he... Because they think the secret to the Hulk is the secret to Captain America, essentially, and creating super soldiers.
Yeah. So throughout the film, there's like... I don't want to say exposition without words, but he's on a computer speaking to Samuel Stearns, known as Mr. Blue, before he meets him. And he calls himself Mr. Green because, the Hulk.
Yeah.
And he is trying to find a way to reverse the Hulk. And he's like sending him blood samples. And when he finally meets him, it turns out he's cloned all his blood and done individual experiments on each bit of blood. And he's really pissed off about that.
As you would be.
And that is ultimately what happened. So basically, what's his name? Abomination, before he changes into Abomination?
Blansky.
The character, anyway.
Blansky.
The super soldier guy. His serum starts fucking him up.
Yeah, it already starts fucking up before because he gets more in him from like the blood. And that's why he was called an abomination, because a mixture would be an abomination.
Yeah, he gets kind of power crazy. And
he's already starting to like mutate and basically turn into whatever he is turning into. But I think either this accelerates it or just makes it worse.
Way worse.
Way worse. And so he becomes this monster that kind of looks like a turtle without a shell.
Yeah, in the comics, Abomination has pointy ears.
Yeah, and he's green and he kind of looks like a lizard.
Yeah, they had this idea... Because in the movie, obviously, he just he looks more like a skeleton because he's got he's got no ears, he's got a spine, so they were gonna have Hulk bite off his ears, but they thought that was a bit grim for a PG-13,
yeah.
so they cut that bit out.
So they just made him without ears.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, in terms of plot, it's basically he's in Brazil and he's managed to avoid the government for like 5 years.
Is it 5 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow, it's longer than I thought.
No, it's like they really drop you in it, and then. He's had like 300 days without an incident, and it shows you like him trying to cope with it, and he does it all quite well. But then he works in a factory, and he managed to get a bit of his blood in one of the bottles because he develops like this.
Yeah.
It's like this like bottled drink. So anyway, Stan Lee dies because he drinks from this bottle with blood in it.
Does he die? It doesn't show him die.
No, he dies. Like the paramedics and just see him like in the.
They did. Did you ever play Lego Marvel Superheroes?
No.
They did a cameo. If you unlock every single character in the game, you can unlock Stan Lee, and he turns into the Hulk. He turns into Stan Hulk.
That's funny.
Which is pretty cool.
Spider-Man did something similar where you could, I think you could either play Stan Lee as Spider-Man or something.
Oh, really?
Like that. Yeah.
I think they did like a Hulk Buster one. Except it's made out of like he has like a pencil coming out and stuff like that, and like paper, like obviously like writing. It's
like that Simpsons episode with Stan Lee's like in it, and he's like, and he tries to turn into the Hulk, and he can't do it. Really
I didn't know Stan Lee was in The Simpsons.
Yeah, there's an episode when he's like, he goes to the comic book store, and the comic book guy's like, "Oh my god, Stan Lee!" and he's having such like a nerdgasm over him. And then throughout the whole episode, he just doesn't leave the store, and by the end of it, he's properly pissed off that Stan Lee won't leave, and he's almost like. Treating him like a lost old man, and he's like, so he goes out because I think Homer's like it's the one where Homer's like always angry, and Bart makes like angry dad. So he
that one, I love that episode.
He plays a prank on his dad, and like he gets green paint on him, and like so Stan Lee comes out and is like, "You're not the Hulk, I'm the Hulk," and he tries to turn into the Hulk, like rips his shirt, and then he's like. Yeah. I swear I've done it once, and comic book guy's like, I know, let's get back into the store. It was really funny. Anyway. So Stanley dies,
Yeah, just to remind you,
Just to remind you, Stanley dies.
a very old man dies.
A very old man dies, and the government trace the drink back to Brazil and the production company, and they send the military in for him, who aren't silent. They're meant to be like this tactical squad team that are really, really quiet, but they fucking blow up everything.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner then demonstrates how he is now Jason Bourne and outruns the entire...
He's like Captain Parkour.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, he's running like all over the buildings. Like, bearing in mind these are trained professionals that he's able to outmaneuver. And then he runs into like a group of, what do you call them, bullies?
Oh, well,
They're like, kind of like colleagues, but they all take the piss out of him because he's
douchebags who
American.
work at the bottle factory he was at. And he
antagonizes them slightly by just running into them. I think it's a case of because he's like American, they don't like him.
Is that the first time he turns into the Hulk in the film?
Yeah, so he gets back to the bottle factory because he decides to go and hide there, but they follow him in there anyway. And then they start beating the shit out of him. And he's like, "Oh, please, just stop. You're all gonna."
He goes,
die.
"You won't like me when I'm hungry." Wait, that's not the right translation.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then he goes like, "Don't make me angry." He's like, "You don't make me angry," and then eventually he just turns into the Hulk. Completely just kills all of them.
I thought it was pretty cool because like the bully out of shot like kicks him when he's down, and then he just like gets dragged off under the camera and slid into the darkness, and you don't see what happens to him. No,
you do. He throws him.
Yeah, he
definitely dies because he throws him through a brick wall and through glass, and
he hits a wall and it just doesn't move.
Yeah, he is dead. Like
definitely dead. I wonder how big the kill count in this one is because he definitely doesn't.
If the Hulk kills people, is that Bruce Banner's fault? Would he be?
No, because
could you say, Bruce Banner's killed people?
The Hulk is a different personality.
Yeah, but if you've got split personality disorder and you kill and your other personality kills someone, you still go to.
I suppose you would, yeah.
But then I guess it's also the case that he could say, well, the government kind of,
they did this to me, so it's not my fault.
Anyway, so he turns into Hulk and takes out the military, and Blansky sees what's going on and he's like, fucking hell, that's powerful. And then about the next hour is just Bruce Banner trying to get home.
Yeah, well, he goes to the school. Is it where he used to work as well?
So what it is he eventually gets his way back to America and he meets some pizza guy who apparently he knows, which were never established on why he knows this pizza guy. But he goes to a pizza guy that lives near.
They probably did. We probably just phased it out.
And they talk about Betty Ross for a bit.
Oh, yeah, Betty Ross, Liv Tyler.
Yeah.
Who actually agreed to do this film without reading the script.
She was that desperate for a role.
I thought she was really good in Lord of the Rings.
I think it was the case that she did Lord of the Rings. She was like, right, this is where my career really takes off. And then nothing happened.
She wasn't very good.
She wasn't. She's not a good actress.
But
she's Steve Tyler's daughter, who's a singer.
Is that...
Aerosmith.
So basically she was in Lord of the Rings because she was a sexy elf and that's it.
Yeah. And also because she was Aerosmith's daughter. So...
Poor woman.
I know. So he goes to the school. He meets up with Betty Ross, and he's like, right, I need to meet this guy, but I need to go to the school and get some information from it and see if I can do whatever. So she agrees, and they go to the school, university, not school.
Yeah.
And Betty Ross, who was dating Bruce Banner before he became the Hulk, is now dating somebody else.
Oh, some other
douchebag.
Yeah, well, he's not a douchebag, actually.
He kind of is. He kind of...
Well, he quickly clicks on to General Ross's bullshit.
Oh, yeah,
and he realises, hold on, but...
I've been misled too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he protected her while you guys were being horrible.
I assume it's a case of General Ross would have gone to him and said, we need to protect Betty from Bruce Banner. Like, help me and, like, she'll be safe. And then she obviously wasn't safe because he brought down a helicopter on her. They go to the school, and obviously they've been sold out, so all the military show up, and they come early. So he runs off to try and like protect Betty and try and get away. He runs into the school first because he still needs whatever it is he needs. I think he left like a digital information or something.
I honestly can't remember. I mean, we
kind of skipped some of it.
Yeah, we had to time crunch this movie, but we've both seen it a good few times.
He runs into school, he gets where he needs to get, and he swallows some USB flash drive to keep it safe, because obviously he can't really put it into a pocket. Cause
he should have shoved it up his ass like every normal person.
No, if you swallow it, you can regurgitate it.
You never tried prying? Just me then.
Okay. Just you and your dildos. So
that's a lie.
So obviously he becomes a Hulk because the militaries are after him, and he sees someone like tackle Betty to the ground. So he gets pissed off and he has a fight with the military. This is where...
And that's when the second Hulk appearance happens.
Yep.
Which is probably my favourite Hulk scene in it. It's probably the longest one, isn't it? Do you think
it's also probably my favourite Hulk scene
ever.
out of all the other Hulk scenes, yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Hulk isn't that great in most films. Apart from that one good bit with fight with Thor, which I thought was really fucking cool.
How, Thor in Avengers or Thor in Thor 3?
Both.
So you actually said something quite interesting to me at this part when we were watching it. You said, this is the only bit that you can recall in the MCU where Hulk gets stronger as he gets angrier.
Yeah, so it's established, and it is very well-known fact that the Hulk gets stronger as he gets angrier. That's his whole deal. And I can't recall any moment outside of this film, in the Avengers, in Avengers again.
Yeah, more Avengers.
Yeah, more Avengers, and Thor, and then the Avengers.
Yeah, he wasn't in Captain America 3.
No, he never gets stronger as he gets angrier. He starts to get beaten up, and then he loses. Like in the fight with Thor in Thor 3. They fight, but he never gets stronger. He just maintains his strength.
Yeah. He even... they kind of do away with it immediately, like at the end of Avengers, because he kind of goes, I'm always angry, implying I have a lid on it now. So,
yeah, but he doesn't.
It doesn't
Or at least he shouldn't, because at the end of the Avengers, when he's like, I'm always angry, he didn't really have any ground to say that. In fact, that entire film, we will talk about later, because I've got so many issues with the Hulk in that film.
Really? Okay.
And I love the Hulk as a character. So, yeah, so this is the only film where you see him. The first time is when they use that sort of sonic machine on him to try and slow him down.
Is it gamma rays?
No, I think it's something sonic.
Right.
Because he clutches his head, and Blankski does the same thing where he clutches his head to try and block out the sound. So I think it's meant to sort of slow him down. But he sees Betty Ross being dragged away, and he gets angry. His eyes go greener, which sort of signifies he's getting angry and he's getting more powerful. So he's able to overcome it. And then he does it later on when he's being pinned down by Abomination, who is stronger than the Hulk.
Yeah, well, you say he has in terms of strength, he has a higher base level strength. But like you said, when he gets angrier, he gets stronger.
In the comic books, they actually measure strength by how many tons they can lift. I could be wrong, but I think the Hulk is about 80 tons he can lift in his base form, and he's not super angry. And if you think a ton is probably like the weight of a polar bear, like a fully grown male polar bear.
Jesus.
So that's 80 polar bears he can lift in his sort of base form.
Polar bears.
Yeah, just imagine him.
That's a very specific example you've given there, Raph.
I mean, that's in the comics. Obviously, the comics is always more exaggerated. It seems like he is weaker in... Although he does throw around trucks and things with absolutely no issue at all. So I think he's just as strong as they want him to be.
I don't know. You can't really... I think that the movies have kind of done their own lore.
But Abomination, I mean, it still works out that Abomination is stronger. Well, Abomination can lift 120 tons. But obviously then the Hulk can just lift an infinite amount the more angry he gets. Because I think it's meant to be that he... Unlike people who have a limit to how angry a person can get, the Hulk doesn't have a limit. So he essentially got infinite strength as long as he can get there.
I really like the design of Abomination. I think it's really cool.
It was really good. Again, Abomination looks more like a swamp monster.
Yeah.
But in this, they made him look like a turtle with an exoskeleton.
He looks kind of ripped and starving at the same time.
Yeah, it's bizarre. You know what he looks? He looks like a better version of the Batman vs Superman Doomsday.
Yeah.
That looked awful.
Well, that kind of looked like a cave troll from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Which goes all the way back to Liv Tyler. So we've come full circle, Raph.
Back to the Hulk.
Yeah.
Perfectly. Well done.
So what did you think of the actual final fight scene?
I loved it. Because we were watching it, and I get the impression that you don't like that fight.
No, I don't mind it. I got really into it.
I mean, it's short.
Before I saw it a year, I'll be honest, I was really judgmental, mainly because the fact that they changed the actor, and it felt annoying because the MCU is so consistent now.
Yeah.
They'll bring back characters like General Ross, he hasn't been in it, and the actual writers of Civil War thought it would be nice to bring back a character who, just to remind you that Hulk is in the same universe.
Yeah.
And that whole fight was choreographed. That wasn't CGI. They actually had actors on a stage and they had 30-odd cameras around them. And they kind of did a Matrix bullet time thing.
Between the Hulk and...
The Hulk and Abomination. That was a choreographed fight.
Oh, that's really good. What, was it all motion capture?
Yeah.
That's really good.
So they recorded it loads of cameras so they could get loads of angles.
You can't say that the film wasn't well thought out. It did have a lot of money behind it. It made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And any time that the Hulk was in any scene, it was always interesting. I was never bored watching the film.
In that case, I guess I just agree with you in terms of I didn't really like Bruce Banner in this film.
Yeah.
I didn't like the way he was portrayed. And the thing that we disagree on. I didn't like the character design for Hulk. I didn't like the way he looked.
So why don't you? Because I can explain why I like him, but why don't you like him?
Oh, what, his character design?
Yeah, how they're actually drawn.
Because although his character design in this is based off of an actual comic book design, where he's like pure muscle, not a drop of fat on his body. It reminds me of Green Lantern, where it's all muscle and green and straight, and it just looks like they tried to make him look too real, you know?
See, that's kind of why I liked it, because proportionally, I don't want to say it's accurate, because it's...
I don't know, it's just not appealing to look at. Not that I'm looking to be appealed when I look at rippling green muscly men, but...
I know what you mean. You're gay for the Hulk. But,
that's the title of this video, Gay for the Hulk.
No, he does, like... The way they design him, he's more streamlined. He looks... I know he's not human, but he looks more human. In the later ones, he looks more like Quasimodo, if he was a Hulk. Like, he's more hunched over. And well,
because he's...
He looks more like if a monkey turned into the Hulk.
Yeah, it's like they try to... Not only... He's less angry, but more stupid.
What it is he looks more threatening or more empowering or something like that when he's in this film. Like when he drops from the helicopter to the ground to fight Abomination.
Yeah.
And he's doing that slow motion walk, and he kind of like rips off the rest of his shirt and kind of flexes his muscles, and you're thinking, fucking hell, he's gonna kill him.
Yeah, he's like, that is someone who could kill me.
Yeah.
The way he looks matches how he behaves in this film. But I still prefer the aesthetic look as it goes. As a comic book movie, I like the way Hulk looks in, like, Thor 3.
Oh, I hated how he looked in Thor 3, because they basically just made him... I don't know why, but they did his eyebrow. He looked like somebody had plucked his eyebrows. Well, they gave him really, really
They probably did, to be honest, because in Thor 3, he has been in Hulk's body for 3 years. So, explain this to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, Hulk gets stronger the angrier he gets. But in this film, it's like they base it off of his heart rate. So, it's not anger, it's his heart rate.
It's adrenaline.
So, he can turn into a Hulk if he gets... scared, if he gets exhausted from running, if he gets aroused, like
if he gets horny, if he gets angry, if he gets...
So it's not anger. So they kind of ruined the whole thing
that's how it's always been, but predominantly anger releases the most amount of adrenaline. So
is that true? I thought fear does, or laughter, if you've watched Monsters Inc.
Ooh.
Imagine that, he laughs really hard.
He laughs so much,
to the Hulk.
And then destroys everything.
Imagine that.
He watches like Airplane or something, and he's really enjoying it, and the next thing you know, he's destroyed half a neighborhood. No, so anything can turn the Hulk into the Hulk. That's already been established in the comic books anyway. It's just the fact that it's usually anger. Like, he gets angry and his heart starts going. Because it is, you get angry, your blood starts to boil, you get adrenaline, you're ready for a fight. But adrenaline also works fight or flight. You get scared, you want to run.
So he's basically walking on eggshells for the rest of his life.
As long as he doesn't, like... Well, the thing is, you'd be constantly scared of turning into the Hulk.
Yeah.
But I guess in this world where there's now Thor, Iron Man, like people who can probably stop you if you need to.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's probably why he doesn't seclude himself as much, or he's not as worried about it.
There's that, and he's always angry.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, in this... I mean,
that's such
I don't know, it's kind of a contradiction, isn't it? If he's saying I'm always angry, but he's always trying to keep a lid on his... I don't fucking know.
This is a conversation for when we do the Avengers.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of reasons why I don't like the Avengers.
There's a lot to cover in the Avengers other than just Hulk, so I think we'll be alright.
Yeah, it will be fine. We've got at least Iron Man as well.
I
had so many things that I wanted to talk about that I told you about, and I can't remember any of them.
Yeah, well, okay, so... I guess there's not much that really happens other than the disappointment that potential, just wasted potential. This movie could have had so much more in it. They could have... I guess I have a grudge against Universal as well for just being a bitch-made git.
There's no reason. I mean, Universal are not doing anything. They're not releasing any Hulk films. They're not... doing anything with the Hulk franchise.
They know how successful MCU is now. Why on earth wouldn't they release another Hulk film? What are they doing?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what the contract is. I don't know why they're not doing it.
Maybe they're just... I don't know.
Maybe they are trying to get the Hulk licensing.
Even Sony had the right idea with Spider-Man. They finally caved in.
I mean, to be fair, they released so many films and none of them were good.
Apart
from Spider-Man 1 and 2, but The Amazing Spider-Man failed. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 literally bombed. Like, it did not make its money back. They weren't doing anything with it. No one had any faith in the studio. So it was kind of like the smart move to put Spider-Man back in for Civil War.
Yeah.
And then, so now Spider-Man's in the MCU. They can have their own films, but I think Marvel gets all the toy rights. So
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and they do all the distribution and the advertising.
Yeah, well, Sony keeps any sort of money that it makes from the movie.
No, you mean Marvel keeps it and Sony gets the right from everything else, basically.
No. Marvel get the toy rights. Sony get the film rights.
I thought it was the other way around.
Pretty sure Marvel have the toy rights.
It would make more sense that Marvel get to keep the film rights because they're the ones who made it, right?
No, but Marvel...
This is a conversation for another film.
Yeah, this is a conversation for Spider-Man.
Since we're patching up plot holes,
Yeah.
after the credits there is what you would expect to be a Nick Fury scene, but he's not in it.
No, it's Iron Man.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
He makes that little shtick where he was like, I prefer to play with toys rather than like... I can't remember the exact line. He basically says he prefers weapons over like organic whatever he's doing.
Oh, is that what he's... I honestly, it just phased out because I saw him speaking to General Ross, and it doesn't make sense to me because at the end of Iron Man, Nick Fury says, "Oh, let me tell you about the Avengers Initiative," and at the end of this film, he's there to bring Bruce Banner into it. Fair enough. In 2009, no Marvel films came out. I guess maybe they were like working on collecting the funds for the first two.
Yeah.
And then in 2010, only one came out, and that was Iron Man 2. And in that film, they completely contradict the ending credits of this one because he hasn't even joined the Avengers. In fact, the Avengers don't want him anymore because he's too arrogant.
Or maybe it's a case of he joined them and they were like, yeah, let's do this. Then he went there to like recruit the Hulk. And then he got kicked out.
Maybe.
Because
he kind of went downhill in Iron Man 2 with all the drinking, didn't he?
Well, that was it. In Iron Man 2, he was meant to be like an alcoholic. Although they didn't do it that well. Didn't really get a sense that he was an alcoholic.
I don't know. I'm
pretty sure he wasn't an alcoholic in that film.
Well, he went through a spout of depression and was drinking a lot. We'll talk about it in the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's about it, really. I was super disappointed.
I think because the film really only has so many beats. So first beat is he's in Brazil, sorry. And then straight from there, it doesn't take him long to actually get back home. He wakes up in the jungle, and there's quite a lot of tributes, actually. There's so many tributes to the original Hulk TV show with, I forget his name, the deaf one. He's actually in the film as well.
Lou Ferrigno?
Yeah, Lou Ferrigno.
Is he deaf?
He's deaf, or at least he's incredibly hard of hearing.
Oh, right. I must have missed it when you said that.
Yeah.
That was a deaf joke.
Should have just said, I didn't hear you. Oh, sorry, what?
Sorry, I'm too subtle for you.
And any joke would have been better than that, you unfunny little cunt.
You unfunny little cunt. Wait, hold on. There was a bit that I was going to say before, right? So, why does he go to America? Because he's in Brazil. Is it because General Ross comes after him, so he's going to go to his daughter and say, tell Daddy to stop?
As we mentioned before, he was he's been talking to Mr. Blue, and he lives in America, and they communicate via email. So I think it's a case where he went to America to try and finally get a stop to it, because I think it was kind of like, okay, the military have now found me. Like there's nowhere I can hide now. Like I've gone to the absolutely arsehole of nowhere, and they found me. So I'm just gonna see if I can put a stop to it. Because in his mind, it would be a case of he thinks he can get rid of the Hulk. Maybe they'll just stop coming after him. What
if he goes and finds the daughter? Because I mean, you've explained why he goes to see Mr. Blue, but not why he goes to find Betty Ross.
Oh, like plot. They just want him to.
They need obligatory love interest.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
There's one weird.
No, because scene... I actually was.
Was it about the King Kong thing where he takes her to the cave? I can't remember.
Oh yeah, no, it's Lou Ferrigno.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, we're talking about him being deaf. What you got to say about the music, weren't you?
Yeah, so he's actually deaf in it, but whenever he's trying to get back to America, whenever he's on a road going somewhere, there's a very famous theme tune, and it happened at the end of every single Hulk episode where he'd try and get a lift somewhere. So he turned into the Hulk.
What, Lou Ferrigno's Hulk?
Yeah. He turned into Lou Ferrigno's Hulk, and then he turned back, and then he'd be stranded somewhere because he was the Hulk, and then he'd get a taxi, or he'd hitchhike back, and there'd be a piece of theme music that plays over it, and they've actually put that in the Hulk. So anytime he's trying to travel back to America, they could hear that music.
Well, that's a nice little cameo.
Yeah. And then he's actually in it as well. So he's in it twice.
He's in it as like a security guard.
He's a security guard, yeah. he gets him, like, it's weird. He managed to sneak into the university to, like, arrange all this crap. So he sneaks into university and bribes the security guard with pizza, and he's like, oh, pizza, yeah, of course, sure, why not? And
Bruce Banner is a sneaky fucker.
But then he does it again. He gets into, I don't know how he gets the second pizza, but he goes into, like, the actual, like...
I already explained this. He's a better pizza delivery boy than Spider-Man.
He is. He's fantastic.
He arrives on time.
He does. And then he bribes the scientist to just let him use the computer with pizza, because he looks up, as he's doing work on a computer, and he looks up and you see, like, a scientist guy with a piece of pizza, like, going, yeah, cheers. Waving a pizza.
Did you check to see whether or not that was product placement? Like it was Domino's or something. Like I didn't even...
You know what? I didn't even know what... if it was product placement, I didn't realise what it was, so the film didn't do that well there.
Well, did he get the pizza from that guy he met in the restaurant? The guy who...
Probably was the guy he met in the restaurant.
Yeah.
I doubt he bought the pizza. He doesn't have any money.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I know you usually ask me what
yeah, well, I mean, it's...
What do you think of the Hulk?
This movie?
Yeah, I mean, I know when you went in, when we were planning this, you were like, I hate this film.
I wasn't
do you still hate it? Like, after watching it now, because it has been...
I don't mind it, no. It's all right. It's all right. I just wish that they could digitally re-edit Edward Norton out and replace Mark Ruffalo in, kind of like what George Lucas did in Star Wars.
Oh, it's fucking...
I wish if they could do that, then it would be the perfect Hulk film. I could even bypass the exterior look of Hulk and his fucking avocado skin colour. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough. I mean, to be fair, there's Universal, stop being such dicks.
It's never going to happen, Raph.
No, they're the massive dicks.
Wankers.
Absolute arseholes. Like...
Tossers.
Twats.